Ameen wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah amma ba'd. Fa'auzu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Fazkuruni azkurkum washkuruli wa la takfurun. Sadaqallahul azim. We begin like we do with any majlis with praise of the Almighty Lord Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the creator, the sustainer, the Lord of this world and the next world, the giver of peace, the remover of difficulties, the ultimate judge, the kind one and the gentle one. And we send peace and salutations upon the greatest creation to have ever been blessed in anywhere, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we send peace and salutations upon Ahlul Bayt, the Sahaba, Tabi'in, Taba Tabi'in, the awliya, the pious and righteous. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala be pleased with them all. So obviously, we're experienced brothers, as you said, and again, it's a reminder for myself, obviously, whenever we come to any majlis, that we have the right mindset, as you said. And, it's constantly something I tell myself that, if you ever even if there's one brother here, two brother here, if you ever go to Fajr namaz at any masjid, you'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 namazis. But nobody has that mindset, why is the masjid not full? I'll go home kind of thing. Yet when it comes to any kind of majlis, we want it to be full as such, and somehow that's a measure of how good a majlis is or otherwise. The topic of tonight's Bayan is really about money, and it's a topic which no doubt will interest us all, because it affects us all. And obviously there is a common misconception in Islam that money is bad. We're constantly told about the warnings and dangers of temptation which money brings. And there's a good reason for that, because really, what does money do? Really, it allows you then to really act upon sins in one sense, in that it feeds the sin of women, zina, cars, houses, watches, clothes, handbags. Without money, it's very difficult to sin if you think about it, because all the mediums that we use require you to use money. So if you want to drink alcohol, you're going to have to buy it in that regard. But really, all them things, if like I said, mention cars, houses, watches, anything material, those are all God's gifts, are they not? So if you're blessed with a particular car or a house or a nice watch or whatever that may be, really, God created these ultimately, and God created these really for us to enjoy in a lawful manner. So everything really, as you said, has a lawful element to it and an unlawful element to it. Even in masjids, obviously they are designed for good, as you said, but it doesn't stop anyone committing sin. Often, people will backbite in masjids because we're so used to it. As you said, we may look at inappropriate things even on our phone. Even sometimes innocently, we may be looking at something else and an image comes which shouldn't, as you said, in that regard. So everything, as you said, can be used in a lawful manner and obviously in a wrong manner. But really, money also serves a dual purpose, in that I'm not going to call it a necessary evil, because it's not an evil. As I said, if you use it rightly, it's not an evil, but it's necessary really both for this life and the next. So really, our physical existence on this earth depends on having food, having clothing, having shelter, having education. All them things really, as he said, are vital and to our existence on this earth. And again, the reality is, without having any kind of money, how are you going to get your food? Are you going to steal it every single day? Because sooner or later, that option may not be there. Even with clothing, as you said, you're going to have money to buy yourself. Otherwise, as you said, you're not going to walk around naked in this weather, as you said, in that regard. Having a house so that you have a roof over your head, that you're protected from the elements like we are today. And obviously we know there are many, many millions, if not billions of people who don't even have that comfort or luxury in that regard. And really, in terms of food, clothing, shelter, really what we are doing is satisfying the body needs. So our body needs food, as you said. Our soul doesn't need physical food. Our soul doesn't need physical clothing. Our soul doesn't need shelter in that sense. So really it's for the body, but really what is the body? The body really is a carrier of the soul, isn't it? So it's really important in that sense that obviously we use the body in terms of really to do our worship and do good deeds. So, we can only pray if we've got a body in terms of doing sujood, praying, using a tongue, all the elements of the body. And so really everything that we are doing in terms of food, shelter, everything else is for the body, because again it's carrying the soul. And really not only money helps our body, really it helps our families. We provide for our families. Again, the same things. If you've got children, you provide food for them, shelter, clothing. Again, that's requiring for money. Even protecting against your enemies. And that enemy might even be a burglar. You're going to lock the door at night, aren't you? Because otherwise people are going to walk into your house and may want to cause harm to you. And obviously we have other things that we really need to do money, like helping the poor, the needy, doing the fard elements like going to Hajj. Hajj is not free, is it? Even if you want to say, okay, I'm going to go free, I'm not going to stay in any hotel, even if you can get into the country, you're going to have to walk there, you're going to have to buy some shoes to walk on there, you're going to have to clothe and feed yourself on the journey and everything else. And everything else that we live in terms of even having a masjid. Again, a masjid doesn't spring up by itself naturally. Having the means to drive, the roads, but all that kind of thing all require money. And really, what we have to understand is we have to work and earn it lawfully. That really is the crux of the matter, that we have to work and we have to earn it lawfully. Often there are people who don't want to work and get it, or they want to use an unlawful method to get it easy and quick because they don't want to put the graft in. They feel, they're not able to hold a proper job, or they see the trappings of instant wealth, drug dealers and that I can suddenly start doing this and I'll have a brand new BMW in no time. Whereas if you're stacking shelves at Morrison's, it's going to take you a lot longer, and in that regard. And working hard and lawfully is really more reward-worthy than our nawafil acts of worship. So often we hear this analogy that, look, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala doesn't say sit in the masjid 24 hours a day doing nawafil after nawafil and anything optional in that regard. We should be, working hard and earning it lawfully. We shouldn't just be sat at home doing zikr all the time, as he said, because it is a duty. Again, like I said, for you to have them outlets of food, clothing, not only for yourself but your family, your immediate family. They all require you to work hard in that regard. And really, even before I came on the tariqah, as you said, it's obvious, but nobody ever said it to me in that way, that look, working hard and lawfully is more reward-worthy than, doing nawafil prayers. Our mindset used to be, oh, Jolo, we'll pray 20 nawafil tonight, or we'll be doing the tasbih, and that's somehow more reward-worthy. But when somebody said, working hard and lawfully is a reward in itself, then it certainly was an eye-opener for me. And there's a hadith in Imam Tirmidhi's book which says, it was reported, God gives man knowledge, and if he is thankful and loves and fear God, and feels that his family and others have right over what he has, and he shares that knowledge and his wealth with them, then basically he's purchasing the palaces he will receive in paradise. So as long as you fear God, you love God, and you acknowledge that your own family and others have rights for you, like your neighbours have rights over you, if you acknowledge them rights and you share whatever knowledge you have in terms of deen, or even non-deen matters. Sometimes we may have an idea in business and we don't want to share it, or a brother comes and helps, asks for a question, we don't want to share that knowledge because we think, well, if I tell him this, he might start earning lots of money, or he might be somehow my competition. And obviously sharing your wealth, spending on your family is sharing your wealth. Really, it's, as you said, you're really building them bricks in paradise for yourself. And even it was said in the time of the Rasulullah by someone called Sufyan al-Thawri, rahimahullah, they said, in that time today, wealth is your sword against your enemies. So even in that time, they were saying, look, money is a sword against your enemy. How? Obviously, if you're going to go to war, you're going to need, in them days, horses and everything else, all the shields and everything else in that regard. And so, in them times, money was seen as a sword against your enemies. So something positive, something good in Islam. And it was also, there's another quote which I'll just paraphrase very quickly, that basically saying that there is no good in someone who doesn't work hard to make money, because really what that's showing is it's somebody not taking their responsibility seriously. And what they are realizing, if you follow that quote, like even wealth is your sword against your enemies, you realize you can't defend yourself then sometimes if you haven't got money. How are you going to defend your family or your family's honor? And really, that person who doesn't acknowledge their responsibility, he doesn't really care for the ones he leaves behind, let's say he leaves, or even for his own hereafter. He's not really acknowledging that, hold on, I have duties, families have duties, or like my wife, my children, as he said. Am I really preparing? If I drop dead tomorrow, are they going to struggle to pay the bills tomorrow, straight away? Because obviously we think, well, we're going to keep going and going and going, and that thought never processes. But literally, just think to yourself: especially those who are married, if I were to drop dead today, what would happen to my wife and children? And money, like with phones and TVs and everything else, it has a good side and bad side. Often the example is given on the phone. You can use it in a beneficial manner, and clearly you can use it in a haram manner. It doesn't mean we should ban the phone just because people can use it in a bad manner, because you can do good with it. But like with money, having money, what else does it can bring? Wealth, as we know, can bring arrogance in us, that I'm better than someone. If I've got more money than Adam, that makes me better than him. Why? Because simply I've got more money. We somehow think that's really a test, of if your bank balance is bigger, automatically you're a better person in that regard. And often it applies to, obviously, really people in, like myself, in this dunya, that in the pursuit of money, we've forgot about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we forgot about death, we forgot about the hereafter, because that's really what we have done. In that pursuit of money, we forgot about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The money is the be all and end all for us. And it really then goes on to other mindset that we think the wealth belongs to us. I've earned it, it's my wealth, it's not anybody else's, and it's a result of my own efforts. And really having them thoughts are really sinful, because you thinking the wealth belongs to us and it's a result of your own efforts is sinful. You want to tell me why, Jamel, it could be sinful? But so why is it sinful though? What does it show? Well, you see, really what it shows is you've got a lack of belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now, belief is not just you have it and you don't have it. Clearly, there's various levels. Sometimes we think it's a simple yes or no. You either have belief or you don't. Well, I think we all know that even belief has many levels of it. And really, thinking that the wealth belongs to you and is a result of your own efforts, really, you're not having that belief in God, because we should know Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the provider. He is the ultimate provider. So we really, by having that thought, we're having that lack of belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Also, we're also not grateful to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, because it's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who's given us that money. Again, we think it's us, but really, when you're not appreciating the source, then you're not thankful to them, are you? They're the ones who have done that. And so really, it really shows some other serious things we sometimes have wrong when we have this mindset. Okay, we have that mindset, we might think it's wrong, but at the core it shows some deeper beliefs within ourselves which really are inconsistent with having the belief and tawakkul of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in that regard. And even then going on to the other side, wasting wealth and stinginess. So we have this medium, hold on, if I'm running after too much money, will it bring arrogance in me? Will it make me believe less in God? Will I become, showing off, etc., etc.? Will it even lead me to wasting wealth? Will I be extravagant all of a sudden? And the other one is having then stinginess. So people then, once they start getting a lot of money, the stinginess, miserliness is called in Islam, starts to develop. Why? Because they think then we have to hold it. Because of that fear, if I lose that money, I'm going to lose my position in society, I might lose my house or anything like that in that regard. And just turning back to wasting, it's again, wasting money is a sin because again, why? It's a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving you the gift of money, and what are you doing? You're wasting away, you're wasting it. And obviously, miserliness, often that's talked more about in Islam because again, human nature is to keep hold and accumulate. We're all building for that rainy day which never comes, generally speaking. And again, that has that same mindset again, that we're hoarding this money because we think, if I don't save it, obviously we should have some lawful savings, as he said, in that regard. I think it said for 12 months, so that for you have enough money for your family in terms of providing food or accommodation that you have 12 months. But often people are accumulating far, far greater, as he said, in that regard. Why? Because there's a fear. I might lose this money tomorrow. I don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. I might not have a job tomorrow. And so again, really what we're doing, we're doubting Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's generosity. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala provided it. All of a sudden now we then think, well, I might not get it tomorrow. Well, you might not get it tomorrow. You might be right, but you might get it. Again, you don't know that. So really, why again doubt Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if He doesn't give you tomorrow, know that there's goodness in it. And if He does, again, there's goodness in it. But like you said, if you got £1 million, we just think, oh, let's hold it, as you said, because it's it's there kept for a rainy day. And really, one should spend on themselves. One can, he said you wear your best clothes when you're reading Salah. He said one should eat well. Nobody says you have to have a £2.50 burger every day or anything like that. And spending on your family, as he said, it's not, sometimes maybe us as blogs, we think women are wasting money or whatever. And again, within limits, that's what it's there for. They have a right over you. So spend, it's a reward with it. It's a double reward because one is spending on your family anyway, and B, it's regarded as sadaqah. And wasting money, when I looked into this topic, I wondered what is actually wasting money, because it could be such a wide definition. As he said, you can wear a £500 jacket, you can wear a £50 jacket from Primark. Is wearing £500 a waste of money? Probably not, if you're earning sufficient money to have that comfortably in that regard. So basically, the definition of wasting money in Islam was that it's where you can't retrieve the money. So for example, you'll see especially, I don't think they're doing, but when weddings back home and they're throwing money on the groom and everyone else, and it's just going on the floor. That really is a waste of money because you can't retrieve it. Or the second thing, the test is if you derive no benefit from that money. So if you're giving it somewhere where you're deriving no benefit, and I'm not talking about charity or anything else, again, you then have to think, what's the purpose of this in that regard? Why am I really actually wasting it? And going further into that, preserving your own property, food, as you said. If you're wasteful with food, for example, you're that lazy, you don't cover the food at night, it comes in the morning, it's gone off. You're wasting it. Yes, it's food, as you said, but again, it's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who's giving you the money to buy that food. And what are you doing? Through our own laziness, we're wasting it, as he said, in that regard. So those kind of lazy acts sometimes we may do in households, again, it's regarded as wasting money. And it's a duty upon us to preserve whatever blessings Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us. So it's like a duty to preserve this body. Yes, you might be fit and healthy, but you have to look after it. You can't say, well, I'm fit and healthy, that's it, I'm going to eat burger after burger after burger. No, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you as an amana. You're supposed to preserve your body, keep it in the best health as possible, and in that regard. And you would have heard, even when we do wudu and we're wasting copious amounts of water, sometimes I'd like to go into people's houses and see how much water they spill on the floor, because when we go to the masjid, it's everywhere, isn't it? You go into the toilets everywhere and people are splashing, but I really like to know whether they do that at home as well, or whether the wife will say, hold on, what are you doing? But yet when we go into any wudu khana and masjids, look at the state and there's water everywhere and people are splashing and everything else in that regard. So again, it really, it's all wasteful in that regard. And it said that obviously, that kind of attitude again is sinful. Why? Because it's an indication of deeper issues. You're unthankful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If you genuinely appreciate that food and give thanks to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you're not going to waste it. And it said that there is no good in wastefulness, but there is no wastefulness in doing good in that regard. So, it's a very general type topic, as he said, but really we have to get that balance right. Because as he said, most of us, we get the balance wrong. It's a pursuit of money. As he said, we're working 4, 5, 6, 7 days a week just to maybe even keep our costs, because, I don't know, we've got a really big house and we have to work 7 days a week or 6 days a week just to keep that going. Or if you've got a really expensive car, we're having to work all hours that come just to preserve that car in that regard. So really, you have to get this balance right. Yes, you should work, and it's incumbent on you to work. This idea that, we don't have to work or rely on the benefit system, really, it's not the ideal action of a Muslim. Yes, there's a safety net in this country for a particular reason, but it's not one we should be necessarily abusing. We should be using our own hands and earning money lawfully in that regard. God has given the ability to, and money comes in useful, even in deen, as he said. It's not just about your own self in that regard. I'm sure Uncle Iqbal will say that, look, money helps you in deen. You can give to charity. Even in this tariq, you can go travelling as yourself if you've got the money. If you haven't got the money, how are you going to travel? All these, Dabbagh welfare trusts, fundraising, as he said, those are opportunities for us to get good deeds. But if, as he said, we are either wasting too much money or we're not, managing our money properly, then really we're restricting even ourselves in religion in that regard. Because people, especially in the Western world, in this country, we are blessed with wealth. Go to them people in Pakistan, the general population, how much can they actually give to charity? And we think we give £10 and we think we've done a great deed. Allahu Akbar, we've given, let's get our name read out in the masjid because we've given £10, when realistically it's nothing compared to, as he said, we spend £10 on a burger these days in that regard. And really then, but again, it is a difficult balance to, I understand, because obviously then you have this, you start hoarding money because you don't know what tomorrow holds for you as well. You get into that mindset as well then. So really, with money, there's traps at every level. If you start earning it, you might develop that greed then for money. If you start at the beginning, if you're not working, you're relying on the state, again, that's really a mindset, again, we shouldn't have, because really it's a mindset of laziness. And if you have laziness in that, then you're going to have laziness in your salah, in everything else, in your general life. I mean, what kind of example would you be setting your kids in that regard? And then when we do start working, we go right to the extreme, and it's work all hours, as you said. We have this cost to do, that cost to do in that regard. And then when, let's say we are blessed with a lot of wealth, then we start holding on to it too much in that regard. And then sometimes we even then start wasting, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us with too much wealth. We start wasting, as he said. People go to restaurants, order large amounts of food, it gets wasted. Because again, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has blessed us, you don't see the poor people wasting their food. Allah has blessed us, as he said, there may come a time when we may not be able to buy our food. And then what are we going to do? So really, it's being thankful of that blessing and being mindful of it. That is a precious gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because it is one of the questions we will get asked, what do we do with our wealth? So it is actually a question we're going to get asked, what do we do with our wealth? And we are going to have to explain ourselves. So if I've said anything wrong or not in accordance with Islam, I seek forgiveness from my errors, and all goodness comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Subhanakallah wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.